Yep. Josh Senk, S-E-N-K, General Manager for Michaels. Are we ready?
We're good.
Okay. Good afternoon. The recent actions of President Joe Biden, executive order halting the construction of the Keystone Pipeline, has affected Michaels, thousands of union trade members across the country, and hundreds of guys that specifically work in Wisconsin. To discuss this further, I'd like to introduce my congressman from the 1st District, Ryan Stiles.
Thanks, man. On Joe Biden's first day in office, he killed thousands of American jobs. Joe Biden killed hundreds of Wisconsin jobs. On Joe Biden's first day in office, hundreds of Wisconsin workers got laid off of their job building private sector infrastructure. Joe Biden needs to reconsider his decision immediately. Think about this. On Joe Biden's first day in office, thousands of people received a notice that they've been laid off of their job. These are jobs, good paying jobs, $80,000, $90,000 a year, $30, $40 an hour jobs are laid off. Sometimes it seems abstract that a pipeline in North and South Dakota moving oil and gas from Canada to the United States could impact Wisconsin workers. But as you stand here at Michaels today, as you stand and look at the men behind me, these are the type of workers that lost their job this week. Joe Biden needs to reconsider this action immediately. We need to have good paying jobs in the United States of America. We need to have good paying jobs here in Wisconsin. Not only is it impacting jobs, it has a huge impact on our foreign policy. We need to have a North American supply of oil and gas. Joe Biden's decision makes us more dependent on the Middle East, more dependent on Russia, more dependent on Venezuela for our supply of energy. I find his decision disgusting. Hundreds of Wisconsin workers lost their job this week because of what Joe Biden did. Joe Biden needs to immediately reconsider this action and put Wisconsin workers back to work. I'd now like to pause and pass it to my good friend, Congressman Glenn Grothman. Glenn?
Thank you, Brian. As Brian said, it's kind of a rocky first week here for the Biden administration. I know a lot of the comments over the next few years are going to be around minimum wage jobs. But here you're talking about 10,000 jobs in the $80,000, $90,000 an hour range that are gone. Beyond that, you know, when we talk about trade, we talk about our relationship with China, our relationship with Japan, or whatever. It's easy to forget, they're almost dead even. Our number 1 and 2 trading partners in the world are Canada and Mexico. And it's so important that we have good relationships with both of them. Now already a lot of this pipeline's been built. I'm sure Canada felt this was a done deal as part of their economic development. And on day 1, Joe Biden comes out of the shoe and pops Canada right in the face. I mean, you know, amateur night at the White House, I'll tell you that. I don't know who he's getting his ideas from. I thought he was at that speech the other day. I thought maybe Lady Gaga thought this would be a good idea. But in any event, I hope not only when he thinks about the people who lost their jobs, but I hope when he thinks about our relationship with Canada, that he reconsiders and gets us back on the straight and narrow. Now I'd like to introduce things to my boss here, Scott Fitzgerald.
Thanks, Glenn. You know, I think there's a time for political rhetoric, and we heard a lot about the pipeline this fall. I think I'm shocked and disappointed that we're standing here today having this press conference at the Michaels Corporation, headquartered up in Brownsville. I mean, it's a great American company that literally just got the rug pulled out from underneath them, and certainly disappointing. You know, I saw that President Biden had a stack of executive orders sitting on his desk, and one by one he was signing those and then making a comment trying to make a political point. I'm not sure who the constituency is that he did this for, but I'm hopeful, not only by being here today, but I think other elected officials, whether it's at the state legislative level or in Congress, that's where the answer is to reverse this. And it also means that Canadian officials, I'm sure, will be reaching out to President Biden saying, this is a big mistake. This is a big mistake. So not only I think it's important to have the Republican members of Congress here, but you know, I think there's probably employees that are represented by Representative Moore and Senator Baldwin, Representative Pocan and Representative Kine, others that could reach out to those elected officials as well and say, call the White House. Call the White House and ask them to undo this mess that they've created, and let's get these people back to work. So it's unfortunate that we're here today, but I think it's necessary because it's kind of a last-ditch effort to save these jobs and get this thing reversed. So, thank you.
Happy to answer any questions. Adam, yeah?
Obviously, the pipeline has been a controversial project for decades now. Why do you believe that the jobs here, I don't know if this would be outweigh the environmental concerns, particularly concerns of indigenous people living in
The environmental concerns are very misleading to a lot of people. So the oil and gas is still going to be transported into the United States of America. It's going to be done by rail, a less efficient means of moving oil and gas with greater risk to the environment from rail accidents, far less safe than a pipeline. And so I think it's very misleading the way that Joe Biden explained this. And it's had a real direct impact on the workers here in the state of Wisconsin. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that or not.
Well, that's true. When you talk about the environment, like Brian said, a pipeline is safer than rail. Yeah, like Brian said, when you talk about solely the environment, a pipeline is safer than rail, and certainly safer than truck. So, other than, like I said, other than to cater to some uninformed environmentalists, and that's what I said a little sarcastically, Lady Gaga, but that crowd who doesn't really know what's going on in the world, if your sole concern was the environment, you would rather have stuff be transported by pipeline.
How is Michael affected directly? I'm not going to give you a great example.
I'm happy to let the Michaels team answer that directly, but Michaels employees, Michaels is a subcontractor for TC, which is doing the pipeline. And when this was terminated, all the work stopped on the Keystone Pipeline. And so workers from Michaels, workers from other companies in the state of Wisconsin who were on the project this week were laid off this week by the action of Joe Biden.
Representative, there's been talk about a bill in Congress that might try to challenge what the president did. What have you heard? Any thoughts about a bill?
Those conversations are just beginning. I'm going to do everything I can to overturn this decision, and I think my colleagues stand with me on that.